Wickham in Buckinghamshire, a Tory shire of the South East, and for so long a safe suburban seat. But this a constituency where the creed of conservatism could be losing believers. Wickham could be a real lighthouse constituency in the next general election. This is Tory territory, and people here have voted for the Conservatives since the early 1950s. Think of it, if you like, as the Tory blue wall. Just like Boris Johnson took down Labour's red wall in its heartlands in the 2019 general election, people are wondering now, can Keir Starmer begin to take chunks out of the blue wall, which stretches from here in the Tory shires right down to the southern coast?
So I'm a director at YouGov in the qualitative team.
To judge how possible that might be, I came to observe a focus group conducted by pollsters YouGov with some questions of my own. Hands up if you think we need a change of government.
I think we do. Trust issues, lack of plans, all of that is what I see whenever I hear Conservative.
Word that comes to mind is stale. They've been there too long now.
The current crisis emphasises that our government is fairly broken.
This a room of floating voters with the cost of living and the budget on their minds.
You have no option now but to shop in places that are cheaper.
Or cut back.
Or cut back. I've had to change my hours at work because of childcare costs, so I can't afford to work full-time anymore. It's not feasible for our family, so I've had to rope my mum in to do childcare, but she's retired. It feels a bit unfair, but I have no option. I can't afford to work otherwise.
Yeah, my kids are the same.
Yeah.
I mean, it's impossible, really.
I wouldn't say we're a low-earning family. It's just that's the way it is. That's the way it is now.
Yeah. I came off a fixed tariff in January that I've been on for 2 years. When I come off it, I went, bloody Nora. You really, the jump was, quite immense.
My daughter and her partner have been trying to move out to here, and the house prices are just ridiculous.
I've voted Conservative for a long time. I've always supported them, and then I got a bit tired of Boris and the promises. We need to have some results, and I want to see some improvements. Some real positive, like cost of living for me. That's what's key to people.
Everything's very short term because of the way it's a 5-year cycle. There's no real long-term strategy for investment, and it's just caused all these problems.
That 5-year cycle soon ending as a general election looms large.
Steve Baker, the current MP, what could he say to persuade you that he's the man to look after this area?
I'm resigning.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm resigning.
And I'm a Conservative.
I think he actually, because he's been there so long and because this has always been a Conservative area, he just sort of, that's all right, they'll vote for me.
I think he had a real shock at the last election when the then Labour candidate came close to overturning his majority.
The Conservatives in seats like this will hope to avoid that sort of shock at the next general election.
Who's going to win the next election?
Labour.
Yeah.
Probably Labour.
Probably Labour.
I think that all depends on how well Mr Hunt and Mr Sunak pull it back from the brink.
Do you think the next election is Labour's to lose?
Yes, very much so.
This a group agreed that Conservative PMs of recent months did the party little favours.
The betrayal of trust that the people put into them, and also a sense of hypocrisy in everything they do when they tell people how to behave and what they should be doing, and then how they have behaved as well.
That's the key word for me, trust. I was going to say I trusted them a long time. And then you get so many mistakes, you're just like, do you know what?
I'm hearing...
But uncertainty too about Rishi Sunak.
I don't know why I don't trust him, but I don't.
He's too smarmy. I know it's a terrible thing to say, but he's too squeaky.
It's disingenuous.
Yes.
We all know that, the Conservatives is a broken ship. And for him to be going in there and pretending to try and save it, I think is disingenuous. I don't think it's savable.
An example is this new legislation he's trying to bring in about people, illegal immigrants coming over by boat. Yeah. And if they land in this country, get caught, they're never going to be able to claim asylum here. Written on the front of the paper is, we don't think this is going to get through international law, or whatever phrase was used. How can we support someone who is putting forward such ideas that are patently just never, ever going to work?
Okay, but
they're not trying. What they're doing is they're making big announcements to divert from the problem. The problem is that they don't have a system for dealing with immigrants, which is why immigrants which do come over here sometimes stay when they shouldn't. They need to fix the system in here instead of wasting millions diverting.
Two main parties with different policies and plans, but this group not yet wholly convinced by either.
how would you describe the current Labour Party and what it stands for?
I think it's, if the Labour Party wants to consolidate its lead in the polls, it's got to start developing, if you want, a personality, a sense of what it is, and give people a reason for voting for it, rather than, I'm not voting Tory, I will vote Labour.
It's not a reason to vote for Labour, there's a reason to vote not vote for the Conservatives.
But in fairness, they have said that they've got these policies, but they're not going to release them yet.
I think what Keir Starmer brings, for me, he brings that I don't want to be at the front. I don't want everyone here talking about me. I want to lead a party. And I want someone that I don't want to wake up in the morning and see them on the front page every day.
I think personality politics is very dangerous. You shouldn't be voting for a person because he's nice. We don't just want a personality, we do want a party, and it's the policies. We should never be voting just for a person.
A general election a while off yet, but the mood of voters here offer a taster of the challenges for both parties as Labour tries to gain ground and the Tories try to hold them off. The campaign already very much on. Beth Rigby, Sky News, Wickham.